Hey everybody, I'm Anthony with Force Fable, and I've got with me today Jordan, Joe Boogie 93, also part of Force Fable, also part of his own channel. Check the link to his channel in the description below.
I'll probably be known as Jordan on this channel.
When we're in game, if it's just us, and I say just us as far as like Force Fable goes, we'll call each other by whatever. But we'll probably also use the gaming handles in case anybody catches us on a server or whatever. They know who they're talking to. Okay, so this week, as I alluded to last week, this week we are going to be talking about retro gaming, and I say retro gaming because what you're watching right now, Doom, is unfortunately now considered retro gaming, which ages me incredibly. But Doom was one of those trendsetter games. It kind of dictated how a first-person shooter should be. And I say that, I know there's going to be a lot of fanboys who think they know what they're talking about, saying that Wolfenstein was the trendsetter. It wasn't. It was not the trendsetter. I say that because I freaking feel like it, first off. But second off, there's individuals that broke away from the developer for Wolfenstein, created id Software, and everything from then on exploded into the FPS genre that you see today. It didn't happen with Wolfenstein. It happened with Doom and with Quake.
Didn't it happen with Halo?
Wasn't Halo the first FPS ever? No, and only fanboys believe so. Although I will say Halo is a very good game, but it's not retro in comparison to the abilities of today's technologies. The graphics then were phenomenal. In comparison today, not so much, but not a trendsetter as far as FPS goes. Now, what Halo did do is set the precedence for matchmaking. Bungie helped dictate how future matchmaking is going to go. And for any of you that don't know, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to apologize. I don't know how the hell you don't know about it. Back to the actual topic, though. So the actual topic, retro gaming, and I say retro, what I really mean is the ones that kind of started the genres off. All right, so we're going to start off with me, and then Jordan will pass it off to you. For me, it started with my father, actually. I was able to see my father every summer and every other Christmas, and what that allowed me to do was to play the violent video games that my mother wouldn't allow me to play. Mom, if you're watching this, you already knew that. I better not get a phone call. Anyway, so what this allowed me to do was to actually expand my video game horizons and then actually be able to come to grips with the whole aspect of violent video games. And what I started with was Wolfenstein 3D, which many of you know. Wolfenstein 3D is what I started off with, and I moved from there to a little-known game. I don't know why it's little-known, but a little-known game, Blakestone Aliens of Gold. And if you don't know what that is, please Google that. Blakestone was the first one I had seen, at least. Granted, I was young, not entirely sure what I was looking at, so on and so forth. But Blakestone was the first one that I had seen. It allowed you to interact with NPCs, non-playable characters. It was the first game that I had seen have non-playable characters. That wasn't a point-and-click adventure game. And they had the opportunity to, once you speak to them, there would be a dialogue box that came up, and they would either have some sort of storyline, some sort of smart-ass one-liner. They would give you a token for the vending machine, also a new concept, getting health, ammunition, whatever, from vending machines. Or they'd be pissed off that you'd be waving a gun in their face, flip out, and try to kill you. So Blakestone Aliens of Gold kind of, in my eyes, really set the tone, for me anyway, of how I think NPCs should interact with the player, how the player should interact with the environment, so on and so forth, in a first-person shooter. So LucasArts made a series of games that kind of helped, and I'll dare say this, kind of helped define how I not only interact with other people, but just my general attitude as a child. I'm going to say all three of them. Hopefully we'll get some fanboys to make comments in the comments section below. Dark Forces, Day of the Tentacle, and Full Throttle were kind of my trio, my triforce, I guess, of games. that I played as a very young child, and even as I got older, I would replay them. I would have a hell of a lot of fun. You can actually get those on GOG, Good Old Games. Highly recommend anybody going out there and taking a look at them. Help me out here, Jordan. What other games? Just kind of being very quiet here.
Well, it's just honestly, it's kind of fun to just see you just sort of reminisce about all your classic gaming experiences. I mean, I think we all have those. I mean, not all of us are such old timers as you, Anthony, but
I will break you in half.
I will break you.
I will break you.
I would guess I'm maybe, at least in gaming, I'm probably a generation behind you, at least.
Well, what games do you remember growing up with?
Growing up, I mean, my first actual video game system, so to speak, was Game Boy Color. First game ever was Asteroids. My parents, when they bought me the Game Boy, thought that one game was enough. Little did they know. And I remember
1,000 games later.
Yeah. I remember the very first time that I actually went out to buy a game with money they gave me for my birthday or something. I was so hard torn between Pokemon or Mario. And keep in mind this was a remastered version of Mario, obviously. But I remember the first time I got a pick. I picked Mario because I wanted Pokemon. My sisters wanted Mario. Anyways, long story short, played Mario, loved it. Really gave me my first real extended look into older games. So that's that. And when I was growing up, actually, we had a hand-me-down Atari. I don't even remember what kind it was, but I remember playing Pong a lot, which makes me seem old, but not that old. But then a few years down the road, I bought one of those all-in-one Atari controllers that plugs into your TV, and that had 20 built-in games. Mm-hmm. Just classics like Breakout, the one where you're just a dot walking through a maze. I can't remember the name right now. Just games like that, and those were really my main insight into retro games. So yeah. Yep.
What about shooters, RPGs, RTSs? Any of those stick out to you?
Yeah, see, that was the trouble. I didn't grow up with video. I didn't get video games really until I was 10, 8 or 10. And so I didn't have a chance to play shooters until I was 13 or so. Because neither of my parents were ever into video games, and I had two older sisters, so they were more into Barbies and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember first shooter. I played a lot of Star Fox.
Star Fox 64 or
Adventures. And Assault. Yeah. Okay.
That was an awkward segment. It's a good thing the younger generation has nothing to offer in the video game industry anymore.
Crazy Taxi.
Great game.
Sonic Adventure. I played that on GameCube. Good stuff.
Sorry.
What? Oh, come on, man.
Are you talking about where he's in a city talking to people and?
Yeah. You can play as 8 different characters. Oh.
Yeah. See, I just relied upon Donkey Kong Land.
Oh yeah, I played Donkey Kong on my Game Boy back
with the expansion pack for the 64. Red topped expansion pack. Oh, you didn't have a childhood? That sucks.
I never had a 64. Can we just talk about quick how great the GameCube controller was? I mean, seriously.
No. All right, so since the younger generation can't apparently keep up with the older generation's ability to recall things that they've played in the past that have made an impact in the video game realm, I guess I'll spit out a few more. Hopefully, we'll get a couple of people interested in them. I would actually like to see multiple update videos with different retro games being played. I think that would be a great idea. I think, from Doom to Doom 2, Duke Nukem 3D to the first Quake, a series of retro games. I think it would work out pretty well. All right, so we already play what you're watching right now. We already have Doom 1 up, and And then I actually wouldn't mind having things like Wolfenstein 3D, the first expansion pack of any video game that I know of anyway, Wolfenstein 3D Spear of Destiny. And then you've got Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold. You've got Jazz the Jackrabbit, which was one of my favorite platformers ever. Commander Keen, which, little known fact, there was a very popular multiplayer Doom level made called Boot Hill, which had depicted Commander Keen being hung in the middle of the map.
Wow.
So there's that. So you've got all those other ones. Then you've got the good old-fashioned Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem 3D. Was not a big fan of the original Duke Nukem, which was actually a side-scroller. Was not a fan of that. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of retro games that I would love to be able to play for you guys. I think it would be great to have that plan while we do our conversations, our witty banter. Mine wittier than most. I think it'd be fun. I think it would give some breath back to those games that maybe a lot of people have forgotten. The roots of where other games came in. So, in lieu of time here, Jordan, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you want to talk about next week?
Oh, what I want to talk about, Anthony, is I want to issue a challenge. All right, I want to talk about peripherals and controllers. So I think we should pick what we think are the top 5 peripherals that, whether it's all time, whether they're ones that you've only used or whatever. Mm-hmm. Top 5 peripherals, and definitively, each of us has to pick our favorite controller. So like Xbox, PS2, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. No, that'll be easy. I think I'll win that one. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. My name's Anthony.
My name's Jordan.
And we will see you next time.